Right now in the National Mall, Donald Trump's infamous Access Hollywood tape is playing on a loop for 12 hours straight. A women's advocacy group marking the one-year anniversary to remind people of the president's past. And just about everyone who follows politics can remember where they were when the tape hit.
I gotta use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the you can do anything.
Much of the nation recoiled. Some Trump aides refused to defend their boss that weekend, but not all.
I know from talking to him that he genuinely feels very sorry about this, and it's certainly not the views that he holds today.
I think Donald Trump showed both Friday night and then Sunday night the kind of humility to admit that he'd been wrong.
That was over a decade ago. I think he's a different man. I believe in forgiveness.
Activists say the tape goes to two larger points. One, how Trump policies impact women. Just today, the Trump administration announcing new health care restrictions that only impact women. No change for men, but rules that will deny many women birth control through their employer, which was previously secured by Obamacare. In fact, the AG of Massachusetts already suing Trump over the latest rules. And two, how the leader of the free world acts like this.
And where are you from? Go ahead, come here, come here. Where are you from? We have all of this beautiful Irish press. Where are you from?
I'm from RTE News, the Taoiseach will know me.
Oh,
Katrina Perry, her Taoiseach.
Katrina Perry. She has a nice smile on her face, so I bet she treats you well. Again? You're going to give her the same one?
No, she's not the same lady.
Go ahead.
They are sitting side by side.
We have a lot of blonde women in Finland.
With me now is Laura Bassett, senior political reporter for the Huffington Post, and Liz Plank, executive producer of Divided States of Women, a project at Vox. Liz, take it away.
I think it's so fitting that on the one-year anniversary of Donald Trump bragging about assaulting women, he is waging an assault on women's reproductive health and rights, and that he's specifically going after women's possibility or ability or agency to control their own sexual freedom. So Donald Trump is fine with women's sexuality as long as they cannot control it. And I love what you played before the segment. Donald Trump has spent his entire presidency so far demeaning women, taking away their rights, whether it's Title X, whether it's equal pay policies, healthcare. I mean, it would take too long to name all of the ways that he's disenfranchised women, and so it's fitting. It's shocking but unsurprising at the same time.
Absolutely. We're talking about a man who disrespects women not only with his rhetoric but with his policies. And here we have, in the name of religious freedom, saying that women won't have access to birth control, which I don't need to point this out, but I will, because for some people it's necessary. Birth control, preventing pregnancy is in itself health care, but also birth control is prescribed for endometriosis, for shrinking ovarian cysts, for acne, for painful periods. I mean, there's all kinds of health reasons that birth control is prescribed. And so this is not a theocracy. You can't just cherry pick people's health care based on your own moral proclivities, and that's what's happening.
Right, as you say, it's health care that affects women. The reasons why they take it would go to the individual basis of a decision between the person and the doctor.
Right.
And so we see some headlines sometimes that make this only, as you're pointing out, only about contraception or only about what are considered sex-related activities, which presupposes a knowledge about individual cases that we don't have. That's why it's called policy. That's why it's not individual case. This also goes, this larger discussion about this president's treatment of women and policies towards women goes to his approval rating. You know, we hear a lot about how Donald Trump is popular among his people, very unpopular president historically, but he has his 30-something. And we hear that a lot. And it's true in the sense that there is an overall 30-something support. But as you both, I think, know, and I want to put up for the benefit of the audience, that's not the case. His approval among women this year is 29%. 29%. It is only by having the approval among men that's up in the low 40s that gets him to that 30 number. And that, obviously, there are plenty of women independents, plenty of women Republicans. Speak to that we so often talk to him about being, having his base is overwhelmingly male at this point.
Right. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the same man who is bragging about having sexually assaulted women, and he's saying that women shouldn't have access to birth control, and he's saying that abortion should be banned, it all comes down to this one kind of unifying thread, which is that he wants to control women's bodies, and women voters are not going to respond well to that.
And you know, especially young female voters. I mean, I always sort of come back to that. I was at a conference in Dallas, a female conservative conference, and speaking to a lot of young women who were able to defend that comment that we saw in the Access Hollywood tape. When I asked them about it, they said, you know, it was a long time ago, and he's their guy. But if he continues to do things that chip away at women's freedoms, and something as essential and preventative health care, like birth control, something that a lot of young women support, that's when he's going to be starting to lose the base, and that the Republican base is shifting. He's
and
not
so,
being able
briefly,
to
what would you say to young men who like Donald Trump and claim that he doesn't have a problem with women?
What would I say to young men?
Yeah.
That's an excellent question. And I think it's an excellent question that I don't hear enough of, because we talk about how Donald Trump, sort of the women's issues and how he impacts women, but he's lowering the standard for men. Men are affected by birth control. There's a study that shows that 52% of men don't think that they benefit from birth control. They
It's hard
do.
to get pregnant without a man.
And his excuse when he said those comments, yes, it's true. We don't self-impregnate yet. When he made those comments, he said that was just locker room talk. His wife said, Melania said, it's boy talk. That lowers the standard for you and all of men in America, and it should be insulting to men as well.
Liz Plank, Laura Bassett.
Thank you, Ari.
Thank you both.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.